Oh, well, everybody, didn't expect to make this. Another one today. Listen, Leeds United, little bit of trouble today. Listen, press conference didn't go too badly. I didn't think too badly, but then Farke comes in with, well, we have a few problems. It's not all great at camp, Leeds. And I was thinking, no, here we go. Peru's back. Good news. Like that. And I think, listen, against the Sheffield Wednesday side this weekend, absolutely battered when it comes to centre-backs. When you look at the Sheffield Wednesday options right now, they've got Barry Bannon, who's just won Championship Player of the Month. However, Shea Charles, the situation there. Defon Chansiri, my goodness. It was just literally trying to kibosh that club at any opportunity, undermining Danny Roll. You know, the staff, the fans, it's absolutely chaotic. Chaotic at Sheffield Wednesday. They're in 10th positions, though. They are a danger. Josh Windass, Michael Smith, doing a really good job for him this season. Obviously, banning Shea Charles. He's really managed to improve him from last season. Really, really has. But Leeds got some annoying news today, has to be said. Pascal Struijk out for 3 weeks. And Pascal has this. He does have this in his locker, annoyingly. The 12, I mentioned it at the beginning of the season, the 10 to 12 injuries that we get with him. Now, what does Farke do? Is he going to go with Ferber at the back? I think he's got to do. He's got to do. You know, it reverts back to last season a little bit, you know, taking Ampadu out, putting him centre-back. Just don't do it. Don't do it. We've got centre-back there. You do not need to do that, I feel. With Max Wober there, you've got a left-sided centre-back as well, who, if the opposition decide to press on Max Wober, he's going to be able to alleviate that press as well with the fact that he's good on his left foot and can distribute with his left foot. Fine. Fantastic. Ferber's back as well. You've got 2 left-footed players there. Left centre-back and left-back. When was the last time that happened? Flipping heck, it feels like it's been an age, which I think has hampered Leeds' attacking play as well. But Pascal been out's a massive blow. It always will be. It always will be. His height and, you know, his ability from defensive set pieces. But not only that, his reading of the game, his football IQ. He's Leeds' prime builder out from the back, so it will naturally inhibit Leeds United. And you've got to look at Michael Smith, the big man up top. He's going to veer a little bit on Joe Rodon now, but when you're doubling up on the big man with Struijk and Rodon, it's a lot easier. There's going to be a little man in there now, or a littler man when it comes to either Max Ferber or Ethan Ampadu. But I am praying that Daniel Farke looks at Max Ferber. We played Oxford United at home. Ampadu went at the back. I did think to myself, just put Debayo in there. Debayo will be able to deal with it. It's fine. I think he'd have been able to deal with it with the amount of XG that Oxford conjured up in that game. And that wasn't because of the brilliance of Ethan Ampadu. It's just they didn't come forward and read in the game, read in the room. I think Sheffield Wednesday will come forward a little bit more, but we have a much more established centre-back in Max Ferber, an Austrian international who can play in a back 3, a back 2, plays under Ralf Rangnick, so you know there's going to be a build-up from the back, but also plays under Daniel Farke, a build-up from the back. There's been no real murmurs of Ferber leaving, which I think is really good news this January. I thought early Jan we were going to hear Mönchengladbach, Leipzig news. And I was thinking, goodness me, we're going to have to go out there and do something. Potentially Andrew Omabamidele, but he isn't a left-sided centre-back in terms of build-up. I think he's more on that right-hand side. So we've got that really in the profile of Joe Rodon. Ampadu can fit back there, but I want to see Ampadu in his best position. I'm sick of moving Ampadu to centre-back. But look, worst-case scenario, you can do that. Best-case scenario right now, we have got 2 centre-backs on the bench. James Debayo, and obviously you have got, you know, Max Ferber. So I'm really happy that we've got Max Ferber there. I think he comes in, he's that left-footed presence as well. Good in the air as well, underrated. Remember that first Premier League season where Max Ferber was dominant in the air and his stats reflected that. So I think a good run for him at centre-back, not at left-back, at centre-back. You'd be hoping this is kind of going to be an easy run in for him right now. You know, you've got obviously Josh Sargent, who is going to be coming up against potentially Norwich, which might be a bit of a difficult task. Sargent's not the quickest, however, he's energetic. He's got a lot of endeavour. He's good on the press, so that might test Ferber. But he's an international centre-back. He's an international centre-back. He'll have dealt with this before. You know, he's dealt with this against France very recently, hasn't he? So I think he's more than capable of dealing with your Josh Windasses. I think he's more than capable of dealing with your Sargents as well. But, you know, you've got to stick him in there. You've got to trust him. And I think Farke's big stickler has been trusting certain personnel. And I'm wondering if he can do that with Ferber. If he puts Ampadu at the back again, my notion is that he just doesn't trust Ferber, really. You know, after the whole pre-season training camp and him wanting him around, it's, you know, actions speak louder than words. Now, if you did put Ampadu at the back, it's not the worst case scenario. Why? Well, because you got Tanaka and Rothwell. And you've now got Gruev, who's not going to be match fit, but he's going to be on the bench at least. And he's been on the grass, hasn't he? So he can, if he's on the bench, then he's fit enough to play, in my opinion. That's how it's always been for me. But Tanaka and Rothwell in the midfield. It's not bad, is it? It's not bad options-wise whatsoever for Leeds United. And this is why I continuously go on about our squad being very good and the makeup being very good. And even when you get a top 3 personnel, which Pascal is in this side, this season anyway, or especially over the last 2 seasons, you can replace him. And, you know, with Ferber coming back, with Aronson coming back over the summer period as well, that quality and depth has only strengthened. So, Peru coming back, big news, you know. Harrogate Town, I mentioned this the other day, that Joel Peru, the hysteria about him, and touch wood, this doesn't happen now, I've said this, but the hysteria about Joel Peru, what happens if Joel Peru gets injured? Well, in his 76 games at Leeds United, he's been injured for 2 of those games. And 2 of those games, Harrogate Town and Salford in the cup, of which, if you cast your minds back to Salford, there was actually a little illness that was going around the camp. That was it. So, Joel Peru has been up for selection and has nearly been involved in as many games as Daniel Farke has been manager at Leeds United. So take that as a crumb of comfort as well. So him being back's big. There is availability when it comes to Joel Peru going forward in terms of his consistency with minutes. He's always available for Leeds United. That's what I've just mentioned right there. And overall, I feel I'm pretty confident about this. Bamford is still out. Look, is what it is. Water is wet. But yeah, I'm pretty positive about this weekend. I think it's going to be tight. I think they're going to play on the goalkeeper. I think Danny Roll's going to come with this transitional game of which he's going to try play through Leeds, which is going to really help us. I do wonder what he'd do with Ramazani, because I think in that transitional play, if we're hitting them on the counter-attack and they've got gaps with the likes of Barry Bannon and not many recoveries in there in terms of pace at the back and in that midfield, I'm thinking to myself, Leeds can be devastating. We can be absolutely devastating. But Pascal being out is big. It is big. Not only just for the physical attributes and us going forward in that offensive standpoint. One stat to bear in mind, Sheffield United are actually one of the worst teams at defending set pieces in this division. They concede a set piece 1 in every 3 times. So, or 1 in every 3 games, I believe it is. So that's something to target them on. And Pascal would have been massive with that. Massive. Because he's our biggest presence from that. But I'm really happy with Ferber going in there. I think that's the right move. You've got to keep Ethan Ampadu in central midfield because he's your best player, really. Or there's an argument he's your best player anyway. But what would you guys do? Let me know in the comment section below. Is this devastating for you? Are you annoyed by this? Pascal being out, how important is he? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I want to know your score predictions as well, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure. Head on over to the second channel tonight. We'll be doing the Burnley and Sunderland watch along. I'll see you in a bit. Cheers.